Hey everyone, welcome to the Neo4j portion of the GDB course. I'm Ivan and today we'll be going over how to create your own dataset for Unit 1 of European History. First, open up the Neo4j browser. If you do not have Neo4j set up on your computer, please refer back to the intro episode to find out how to download the Neo4j desktop. Next, let's create our first node. Here, create creates the node. Event is the type of variable we'll be creating. Renaissance is the name of the variable. In the brackets, we will specify that the name of the event is called the Renaissance. This line of code will show you everything you've created, including the first node you have made. Congrats, you have completed your first node. Let's try another one. Here, we are creating three different nodes. First, we are creating the node called the Italian Renaissance, and we have also created the Humanism node, and lastly, the Castiglione node. The Italian Renaissance is a node that is labeled event. Humanism is an idea node, and Castiglione is a person node. These Humanism and Castiglione nodes are related back to the Italian Renaissance. We currently have not established a relationship. Here, we create the relationships by connecting these nodes together. Note the format where the arrows are pointing. In the middle of these arrows, you can see how these nodes are related, as humanism is a concept of the Italian Renaissance, and Castiglione was influenced by humanism. Now do you get the gist of creating Neo4j? Work on the dataset yourself and come back to see how similar your version is to mine for Unit 1. Welcome back. For your reference, here is my Neo4j database for the first unit. Next, let's learn how to use the database. Let's say I want to know which books Machiavelli wrote. Here, we use the match command to find a person under the name of Niccolo Machiavelli who authored a book, and we return the name of the book. Next, let's review a little bit of Unit 1. First, we went over the Italian Renaissance and the rise of the Medicis through Florence. Next, we went over the Renaissance spirit, where we talked about individualism and humanist scholars who studied classical texts. We also went over Machiavelli and his book The Prince. And additionally, the Renaissance art, where they were characterized by perspective, chiaroscuro, pyramid configuration, and classical forms. We also went over the Northern Renaissance, where we saw Christian humanism and also the printing revolution, where Johannes Gutenberg invented the movable printing press. Northern Renaissance art is also extremely important, where it's characterized mainly by large oil paintings. We also went over the new monarchs in France, where we saw Charles VII, Louis XI, and Francis I. And in England, Henry VII and Henry VIII. And finally in Spain, we saw Ferdinand and Isabella. We also went over the age of exploration, where we saw many factors incentivizing European overseas exploration, including spices and profits and cash crops. In Portugal, we saw Prince Henry the Navigator leading the Portuguese exploration, including many other key explorers such as Bartolomé Diaz, Vasco da Gama, and Pedro Carabal. We also saw in Spain, where Christopher Columbus led the Spanish exploration, in addition to many other Spanish explorers, including Hernando Cortes and Francisco Pizarro. This inevitably led to the Columbian Exchange. And finally, mercantilism. Here, the mother country is trying to create a favorable balance of trade, where colonies will export raw materials and import finished goods from the mother country. Thank you for tuning in into this episode of GDB. In the next episode, we will jump into Unit 2.